So I think I have 6 o'clock, so that we're being respectful of the fact that you guys all decided to come out and join us here tonight. We'll go ahead and get started. But before we do that, if I can find what I had set up. I have something I'd like to share with all of you. See what the problem is? Very good, thank you. Okay, here we go. Right on time. And that's your entertainment for tonight. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate that. I've heard several people say that they would be surprised if 3 people showed up, and yet it looks to me as though we've packed the place out. My hope would be that as time goes on, that not only will this have value for all of you that are here today, that maybe you can spread the word positively that there is value in it. And help us continue to build it towards value, because our intent is to do this at least once a quarter, depending on the community's appetite for it. With that being said, my name is John O'Brien. I am the new city manager for the for the city of LaGrande. With us here tonight is some of the city council members. You can thank them for doing a great job in picking. That being said, there is not a quorum here tonight, so they're here tonight to offer personal opinions, not official opinions. So if you should engage them, know that, please. The information that I'm intending on us to be able to cover here tonight, this is the agenda. I won't read the slides to you, but bottom line is these are the topics. This first session is just intended to tell you what the plan is going forward, and what the depth of information is that we're intending on to be able to provide to you as a community. We are, at the same time that we're doing this here now, streaming it over YouTube as well. I think as you guys came in, there was sign-in sheets for you to be able to place your names and email addresses. And our intent is to build a distribution list of emails so that we can send information out to anybody and everybody that might want to be on that distribution list, primarily for us to be able to communicate about events like this. And then we do not want to annoy you with an abundance of emails, but we want to make sure that you're getting the opportunity to know and understand. One of the things that I've figured out early on in my, I guess during the course of my leadership experience, is we have to meet you where you are. Not necessarily expect that everybody's always going to show up at the places that we designate. So my hope is that you will help me identify, or help us identify, locations that we can go to make sure that we're going out and communicating and building what I would like to believe is trust with the community. Which is ultimately what I've listed here on the slide here. If you were to focus in just on the second line on that slide, our desire, my desire, the team's desire, the city here, would like to be able to celebrate the achievements and support that comes from the community, as well as honor service to the community, and then ultimately for us to also be able to build trust with you through sharing information with you. We're going to try our best to take complex city issues and distill them down in a way that makes it so that we can communicate it effectively without losing the value of the granular details that are in that. Our goal is to not put you to sleep. Our goal is to be able to help you be informed and engaged as you're continuing to speak with the council members and explaining what it is that you need and or believe that you want within the community. We're also in the process, and I'll get into this a little bit more. In fact, don't let me get ahead of myself. Ultimately, our desire here is to continue. I don't have an opinion on whether trust existed prior to my arrival in the organization or within the community. What I can tell you is I inherited an amazing organization. The team that we have is an absolute amazing group of professionals that I can't even find the words to be able to adequately explain what all they're capable of from their professional subject matter expert perspectives, which is great because that's going to give me a lot of opportunity to be able to build relationships within the community and then take their information and share it with all of you. And we're looking for the best way. I can tell you that to add to that, aside from the senior leaders or the leaders that are in the organization, I apologize, I'm talking fast. When I've shared this with a couple of different people, thank you. The first week that I came in, so I started on August 18th. The first day that I came in, or the second day that I came in, I received this email, an invitation to attend a meeting that was intended for, or this was put in place for the purposes of helping new city managers in Oregon to be able to integrate better into their new positions. For anybody that's been in position 3 years or less. That was on day 2 that I got the invitation. The meeting was on day 3. And so I went to that meeting, and when I sat in that meeting, it was all Zoom. But when I sat in the meeting, I got to be honest with you, like I started asking, why did I sign up for this job? The conversations that were taking place absolutely appeared as though there was a lot of tension that existed both within their own city staffs as well as with, and I'm not going to call out any cities that were in the meeting, but what their relationships were like with their city council. Again, going back to what I said at the beginning, and I'm not saying it because some of them are sitting in the room here with us, but I inherited a gold mine. The reality of it is I have an incredibly functional staff, an incredibly capable staff, and we have a city council that cares and actually wants to communicate in a way that's value added for the community and is empowering us to be able to do that as best as we can going forward. And what we're getting ready to outline for you here today and some of the things that we're going to talk about will hopefully at least set the stage for what you can expect in the future in regards to these types of community gatherings. Whether we do them here or whether we do them coming to a place of your choice. And please, challenge me to show up where you want me. And I promise you I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I'm there. You just got to be willing to step up to the plate and invite me. I wish I was intuitive enough to just figure it out, but I'm not. With that being said, one of the key things that I want to make sure that we're doing in this component or in this environment is making sure that we're recognizing amazing people in our community that are doing things to support each other or support the community in some way, shape, or form. And so when we're nearing this next season, I'm going to solicit anybody that's on these emails that we send out for nominations for us to include in future events, so we can make sure that people know that they're seen and that they're appreciated. With that being said, we do have some nominations that came in for this particular go-round. We apologize for anybody that didn't get seen this time, but we'll do the best that we can for future iterations as well. With that being said, George, would you mind stepping up for a second? Our first nominee that came in was Mr. Mendoza. I'm guessing that most all of you know him. He's the superintendent, and as of the last couple of weeks, announced the Superintendent of the Year in Oregon. I have to say that coming into the organization, he was one of the earliest ones to reach out and try to communicate with me in regards to establishing a relationship. And I would say, at the risk of maybe being a little too personal, I think I found a best friend in coming into the community. So I'm incredibly thankful to know him, let alone to have been able to learn. I've reviewed his strategic plan that he has for the for the school district, and it's impressive. It's amazing what he's doing. So if you haven't got a chance to dig into his weeds, dig into them. They're pretty interesting to check out. But that being said, George, the city would like to thank you for everything that you're doing, and this is also signed by the mayor, by the way. Thank you for everything you're doing in our community to help make us a better place.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And I'm hoping that everybody was able to make it. George, if you could come up again. These next couple were actually nominated by George for recognition within the community. So if you would speak a little bit to each of your nominations, I'd appreciate it.
Thanks. All right, team. Well, real quickly, John did ask me like if I had anybody to nominate. There's a lot of people I could just nominate because I'm thankful for so many people here. To our school district, though, in particular, Jay Coleman and RD Mack does a lot for our school district over the years. If you look at the baseball and the softball facility that we have with Pioneer Park for the city, it's because Jay donated a lot of the rock and dirt from his pit into that. And when you see the track for the high school, a lot of the dirt work, a lot of the rocks, a lot of the things that were given to us so that we could have the foundation, so that we could put in a new track, it was because Jay donated a lot of the rock for that. And not just the rock, sometimes it's taking things out, it's putting it in, it's moving all the dirt, and doing those types of things that sometimes can cost the school district $200,000, $100,000. And for us to not have to pay that, and for him to do that work for our community, for our kids, for our athletes, for our sports, has always meant a big deal to me. He also donated an asphalt parking lot to Island City between him and Mike Becker and Jamie Chalice. So he's done a lot for our school district. I think he does a lot for our community. I think he's worthy of recognition. There you go.
And then you already did this one, right?
Yeah.
And then Mr. Mike Becker. Is Mike here? Okay, so I'm going to speak to him.
So obviously, if you don't know about our school district, we've done around $75 million in projects over the last 8 years. And Mike, in particular, I just said he had helped with the asphalt and sidewalk work that was given to Central. He helped to build the Wildcat Center. This was a big project for our school district. We got an awesome grant, $4.45 million. We refinanced our bond, and we were able to do that. And we received about $4 million. Actually, it was $4.45 million from the bond, and it was $4 million from an awesome grant, 8.845. We had originally said that we were going to do 4 classrooms, 2 gyms, If you've been to the Wildcat Center, it is 6 classrooms and 3 gyms. In working with Mike, there's not a lot of contractors or builders that say, hey, you got us down for 8.845 million. And I know it said 4 classrooms, and I know you said 2 gyms. We think we can build you this at the cost, and we think we can get you 3 gyms, and we can get you 6 classrooms. So for him to be able to work with us, to support us at that level, to make sure that we had more than we had been anticipating, to me was very important. And he does that kind of stuff for our school district. He'll basically say, I can do it for this, and then you wind up getting a lot more, and it just makes you pull for him. One of the things for me, again, is when people in the city go out of their way to support you and support your students, support your staff, support your building, it means a lot to me personally. So Mike Becker has done a lot. Jared Peter, who's right there, his construction foreman or his superintendent also does so much for our school district. So I'm thankful for Mike Becker Construction.
Thank you. Okay, gotcha. You didn't make the camera.
Oh, it's okay.
Chief Bell, would you come up?
Over here, maybe?
That would be a good camera. Nick, would you come up too?
Put you in the hot seat. So, if you don't know, good evening everyone, by the way. I think I know most everyone in the room, but if you don't, if we've not met, I'm Gary Bell, I'm your chief of police. The man next to me, Nick Vora, is our emergency manager for Union County. When City Manager O'Brien sought input from staff and others about nominations for recognition, Nick was at the forefront of not just mine, but a lot of us. Nick does so much for all of us in Union County. It's really, quite frankly, immeasurable. I have something I'm going to read that talks specifically about a few things, but it just doesn't go far enough. But bear with me for a minute. It's my honor to present a special partner recognition from the City of Grande to Union County Emergency Manager Nick Vora. Nick is an outstanding partner to all of us in public safety. He's known for his professionalism, dedication, and his constant willingness to make himself available whenever help is needed. His contributions are extensive, from coordinating countywide training events like the recent active threat scenario with Grande Hospital, to tirelessly diagnosing, repairing, and maintaining the radio systems to keep our first responders and 911 center connected. Nick has also secured critical grant funding and resources that benefit both our agencies and the broader community. Most recently, through his efforts, the City of Hillsborough donated a complete $40,000, mind you, portable repeater system, a remarkable gift that will strengthen our emergency communications for years to come. Nick's commitment and service to Union County are truly invaluable, and we're fortunate to have him as part of our team. Please join me in thanking and congratulating Nick Vora. Thanks. Hang on a second. That's not it, so I'm going to give this to you. And in addition to that, so most of you have probably heard of or seen challenge coins before. So I have, it's called a Chiefs Recognition Coin. And so some organizations just hand them out, right, just to whoever. That's not the case with me. You really kind of have to earn it. The back of the coin says, for honor, service, or action in keeping with the highest traditions of the Grande Police Department. And so with that, there you go.
If he coins you guys later and you don't have one, you owe him a drink. Is Steve Clemens in the room? So Steve nominated the next one. I'll have to go over there. So
Okay.
We got to keep you in the
I
camera.
think Kevin's here.
Okay. So even if he's not, you want to speak to him?
Sure. I think most of you know Kevin. At least you haven't taken advantage of his service. Well, you may have, but not you personally. Kevin runs Loveland's Funeral Service. But a long time ago, it's got to be 10 years at least, Kevin started something called Safe Rides, where he would provide free riding service, free taxi services for people who've been out enjoying the evening. Kevin deserves a lot of credit for carrying that out and doing it year after year after year, recruiting people to help him with the taxiing service. Last that I heard, he was trying to take this thing nationally. And he was doing a fundraising effort. I think that was last year. I don't know how much he's been able to do with it, but it's a worthy cause that was started by a pretty cool guy. So I wish he was here tonight. I haven't seen him in ages, but he really deserves recognition by the community. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Is Sarah Fisher here? Are you able to speak to K. Volkswagen? Anybody with K. Volkswagen here? Okay. Well, they did a great job for the community. I just wanted you guys to know that. How about Chris Evans?
That's mine.
I'm here.
Hi, I'm Chris Evans. I work at Center for Human Development as our Community Relations Director. I thought these were like closed, sealed, anonymous kind of nominations. So this is sort of a self-nomination for our outreach center. Good opportunity to give them a little bit of a spotlight for the work they do. It's separate than our main office, staffed really by peers that have been there, done that before, and now they're certified peer mentors, helping people with harm reduction, outreach, connecting them to services and referrals to help people get connected to treatment, kind of get back on their feet and tackle addiction and substance use. So I wanted to just throw them in here and give them a little shout out. My data is quite old, so the numbers are even more impressive, but last report I saw, we've done, I think 1,000 services of wound care, referrals, housing applications, transportations for people to get to detox. So our coordinator, Brooke Taylor, is who I wanted to recognize, and our outreach center.
Stacy.
Okay. It's a long one here. I won't do what Stu did because I probably tripped. Hello, everybody. I am Stacy Stockhoff, the city recorder for the city of Grande. I know a lot of these faces in here, but not all of the faces. So hopefully you can stop by City Hall sometime and say hi. So I had Kelly Edmondson come into my office a couple weeks ago, and he was speaking for himself and his girlfriend about going around and picking up garbage. So I wrote down just a little thank you, so if he's watching, this is for him. A big thank you to Kelly Edmondson and Katie Ibarra for their continued dedication to keeping La Grande beautiful. These two outstanding community members recently stopped by City Hall to confirm they still had permission to help clean up the gravel pit area near the Union County Fairgrounds. And they've been going above and beyond by also tidying up our city parks. Your efforts don't go unnoticed. Kelly and Katie, we appreciate you. So I wish everybody could do that.
So that concludes the ones that were nominations that came in from external from the city to us. One of the things that I want to be able to do too, or that we as staff want to be able to do as well, is making sure that we're telling our story. And there's a lot of different ways that we're planning on getting after that. This will just be one of those ways. But I wanted to share with you some things that have happened within the city that bears recognition. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but there has been, even though Kyle actually has been telling, our Public Works Director has been telling a story fairly recently. Somebody called in about a week ago or so and called in a complaint in regards to a street that needs to be fixed and taken care of. But took the time during that complaint to say, but I see that you're doing a whole bunch of good work and in a lot of other places too, so thank you for that. The reality of it is this last year, I don't have the stats with me to be able to speak to it at this moment, but this last year they did more work than I think the last several years combined in regards to repairing streets within LeGrand. What I can also tell you is that Kyle has taken that as a personal requirement that he needs to do better each year following until we get everything completely accomplished within the city. I can tell you the complaints that I've received most consistently is in regards to the streets. So I'll have some information that I'll share with you here a little bit later, but one of the things you'll see it'll be a recurring update that we'll provide at the city council meetings as well as in these forums. But we have a working list of showing what our current planned priority of effort is going to be in regards to the streets. And so you'll at least be able to look at the list and see where your streets are at on the list. And then if you should feel so inclined, you can come in and yell at the city council and tell them you want them to bump you up on the list. I don't know that will get you there because there is a logic behind what we're doing. But I've heard tell before that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So, but you didn't hear that from me. Also, I don't know that you guys, how aware, I think everybody just kind of takes for granted the reality of our bathrooms functioning, our water flowing. What I can tell you is that let that not happen for a day or two and see what kind of chaos will ensue in a community. The small number of employees that we have working out at this treatment center gets an awful lot of work done on a routine basis, and they do so never asking for praise or for recognition in regards to what they do. They just see it as their job and they get it done. And so I think the guy that's taken the most credit is Kenny Glenn, because he's been on the team for about a week now. So I felt that it was important for us to share with that. Stu, could you speak to these, please? These next couple. Oh, I do want to throw in, if you should happen to see Kyle and you know him, he's not here with us tonight because he's up at the hospital right now where his daughter is having their first, this would be the 6th grandchild, but the first boy. So he said he has to be present for this. So he's there now.
Priorities. Hi, I'm Stu Spence, the Parks and Recreation Director, in case you didn't know that. Teresa Gustafson, I should have you come up, Leah. But Teresa Gustafson is retiring this December, but she's been a long-standing employee with the city since 2006. This year, she was recognized just last month, or last week, as the Arborist of the Year for the entire Pacific Northwest. So in LeGrand, we have, I'd say, the best arborist in the whole Northwest. So kudos to her. She certainly wouldn't want to be here and have any recognition, but she's amazing. And she's a part of my team, which is a part of our team. So pretty excited for her. So congrats to Teresa. And speaking of Teresa, our Community Landscape and Forestry Commission is kind of her charge. That's our commission that advocates for urban forestry and beautification awards. Leah, come up here for a second. Steve, come up here for a second. These are 2 members. Who else? Is anybody else here? Jennifer's gone.
Tony's here.
Tony's here. Yep, come on. Look, 3 out of the 4. That's amazing. So these folks right here are being recognized because not only are they volunteers in our community, but they plant, literally these 3 have planted hundreds of trees over the last several years in our city. And they also advocate for the urban forest. They organize the beautification awards. They advocate for Teresa and much the work she does. And really appreciate your support and your help with all that. Thank you. Go back that one slide. On the very bottom, there's a very important thing here. The city of LeGrand has the 3rd largest Arbor Day Foundation Growth Award streak in the entire country, which is pretty significant. So we've been dedicated to urban forestry since 1990, which is pretty significant for a small town of LeGrand, Oregon, for the entire country to be in 3rd place there. Now, what's the next slide now? Oh yeah. Wow, if you didn't notice, we built an amazing playground at Riverside Park this summer. We did that with the help of a committee that raised a lot of money. They helped do the design work, they helped work with the contractor, they helped with every little aspect of that. They raised $175,000 or more in local match dollars. They were led by Sharon Langdon and Shayla Rollins, and I don't think they're here, right? But I really appreciate their commitment and dedication, perseverance to make that project. It was a 2 or 3 year gig. And since Joe's here, to see Joe's a good example of somebody in our community that we needed help with the turf installation. Joe's a carpet guy. He works for Carpet One. So we were trying to lay carpet in the park. I simply reached out to Carpet One and they stepped in and helped. Joe and his team came and spent lots of hours figuring that out, cutting all the carpet, making it fit, and making it great for kids. So great example. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for everybody in the community for that support. Great project. Thank you.
So that'll conclude our current recognition portion of our plans for this evening. These are some additional topics that I'm wanting to cover with you this evening. George, thank you. He's handing out a piece of paper for you guys, and I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes about why I've asked him to hand it out to you. Let's see. So. Things that you can count on. One, I wanted to make sure that you guys had my contact information. So that's up here if you want to take a picture of it or if you want to memorize it, however you want. But I also brought business cards with me. So what I can tell you is I welcome you to contact me. There's been a lot. I'm going to share a story, maybe even throw a few people under the bus. But early on, probably my first week or so into the seat, I was approached by a group of individuals that work within the community that care very much about the community, and they invited me to come out and meet with them. I'll be honest with you, I thought they were just asking to get to know me, and we were going to sit down and have some coffee and get to be it. No, I got blindsided. So much so that I showed up to the meeting, and they actually had an agenda that they set out in front of me of all these different topics that they wanted to be able to cover during the discussion. As much as I was thrown a little off balance by the fact that occurred, what I can tell you is I was able to glean very quickly that they cared very much about the city, and they had every desire and intention to be able to communicate to me what their thoughts were in a way that was productive and not tearing at the flesh. And so I can say that some of the topics that they were able to share with me gave me the ability to come back and get some really quick, short wins. But at the same time, some of them are much more complex, are going to take some time for me to be able to actually get to the full understanding of the situation, to be able to provide more quality responses back to the group. But I've committed to them that I'm going to give them those responses. And that's who I want to be, that's who we want to be with the community. We want to make sure that we're coming out and meeting with you where you need us to meet in order to do it. And I'll be honest with you, it's not going to be convenient. It's not going to be simple for us to make it happen. But we're going to make it happen because, in my mind, that's the only way we can build trust with you. That's the only way you can feel as though you're being heard. If you have other ideas of how we can approach it, this may be more efficient, I'm certainly open to it. But for right now, that's going to be our approach going forward. So what I will say is we have a group of individuals sitting here in the front row that were the ones that invited you. I think that you guys go by the name the coffee shop crew. But one way or another, I thank you for what you're doing, what you're inviting me to do with you. And if you want to have a better understanding of their approach and what they did with me and how you can do the same, which is as simple as come up to my office and ask me if I'm willing, and the answer is going to be yes. And then it's just a matter of us finding the time and the place. So I have my business cards here that I'm happy to give out to you when you guys up. Some additional topics I wanted to cover was for future town halls. Aside from us continuing to have community recognition, we're going to have that streets and roads list that I told you about, which I believe is in the... Oops, I'm going the wrong way. This one here. We'll have this particular slide will be present at every council meeting. It'll actually be projected. Brent Clapp is assisting us in making sure that we're projecting that out And this all came from feedback from people who were willing to come and talk to me and tell me about what some of their frustrations were. The same group that I referred to here earlier, at one point in time also reached out to me and talked to me about their concerns in regards to the consent agenda during the city council meetings. Their concern was that they felt as though we glossed over the topics that were on the consent agenda, and they didn't suggest that there was a lack of trust, but they said the fact that we're not talking over it at least offered the opportunity for people to think we were hiding something. So as a result of that feedback, we started posting the consent agenda on the screen as well as broadcasting it. And then we changed the script, and the mayor now reads through every single thing that's on the consent agenda so that if people have thoughts and or needs or questions in regards to the topics, they have the ability to do so. Let me go back. Performance dashboards. So our team is in the process of constructing. This is going to take some time because we have some very dense information that we want to try and be able to communicate out to the public, to the community, and to the city council in a way that is efficient with everybody's time, while at the same time isn't so generic that we're struggling to actually get to the quality of the information that's there. So we're trying to find the balance between too much information and not enough information. And we have some ideas, or at least we're developing ideas, on how to be able to communicate that for the city council. And then ultimately, we're intending on bringing those what I'm calling performance dashboards to these meetings as well, so that you can see what our strategic goals are for the city, and what we're doing to get after them, and how well we're self-assessing at getting those things accomplished. It'll be your opportunity to disagree on those topics and to be able to share what your perspectives are. I would like to think that we get to the point in time where we could do that, where you feel comfortable coming and talking to me about it, so that we can not bog down all the time that's in here with any one or two topics. But at the end of the day, we're going to meet you where you need us, and we're going to communicate on the terms that you need us to communicate on, so that we can all at least agree that we understand whether or not we agree on the output. That might be a whole other conversation in and of itself. But you understanding the why is important to us. And so you'll see more of those in the future. I'm calling them currently performance dashboards and or performance assessment reviews. The reviews will probably be more of an official meeting we hold with the city council. The dashboards will be something that we're sharing with the public, but they're going to look very similar. There's not going to be any difference in the content for the most part. Bottom line is that's what we're planning and intending to be able to show you as we're moving forward in the future iterations. But I also want you to be able to tell us what you want us to talk about, what you want us to report on when we do these, when we hold these sessions. So I can say that I'm sure that there's a lot of worry on the side of our staff. We're few and we're strong, but everybody, and I'm hoping with time you guys will be able to know this with confidence. Every single employee that works for the city is working hard. And what I can also tell you is my early assessment is I personally cannot believe they're getting as much done as they are, and that they're doing it to the success that they're doing it at. Maybe everybody will define success differently than the way that I do, but what I can say is quality of life here is much better than it is in many places. And a big part of that is because of the strong few that we have working in here. And I'm hoping that you don't just take my word for it, that you'll come back to these in the future and allow me to show you why that's true. I can also tell you is that as a city, we cannot stay the same as we are and retain what we have. We have to do something more than what we're doing already in order to keep what we have. And so we're not in any immediate danger in any way, shape, or form with the community in regards to the services that we're providing. But what I can say is there will be a time in the future where, as good as it is and as well as we're managing it right now, it won't always be that way. And the only way that we're gonna be able to agree as a community on the best way to solve those problems is for us to work together on it. To make sure that you're informed on the realities and give you the ability to make decisions of what you want for services and to what degree of quality you want those services and what it would take for us to be able to make sure that you have it. Because everything's gonna take resources and we need you to play an active role in helping us make sure that we have the resources to give you what you want. But we're gonna be willing to have the hard conversation with you that says that this service level, I mean this resource level, this is what your resources are required. And then you can choose. You'll be able to have a decent opinion on we want better than that or we want less. And we'll share with you our homework as to what it would take to have it the way that you want it. But those types of conversations are only going to take place over time and with community engagement and making you aware and us being able to show you our homework as to how we drew those conclusions. And at the same time, giving you the opportunity to offer us different ways of seeing it that maybe somehow or another in our efforts we've missed. It's not, we want to invite that kind of dialogue, and even though it might seem like additional work, the bottom line is we want to serve the community the way that it needs to be served. We want to meet you where you want to be met. So that's what we can plan on for the future. The budget planning season, and I'll count on my team to correct me if I say something wrong, has traditionally kind of started in December and then works its way all the way up to June until we finally have the signing of an approved budget. We've backed that up a little bit and we're starting conversations that are going to lead into that normal season. We started about 3 weeks ago. And we're trying to, what at least I've gleaned from the processes in the past is that we try to do a whole bunch of things. We try to do a whole bunch of things in a really small compressed period of time. And because of that, I think my assessment is that generates frustrations amongst all the different stakeholders that are contributing to the conversation. It contributes to staff frustration because they're trying to communicate complex topics at very simplistic ways. The science of budgeting I'm so glad Heather's on the team. Because I'm telling you, I couldn't do what she does. There's just no way I can get there. I'm glad that I get to just sit back and talk to her about it versus being as detailed in the numbers as she has to be, and her team has to be. We want to give you guys the opportunity to be able to contribute to how we're moving through that process, which goes to the paper that you guys all see sitting in your hand. Is anybody in here, well, I'm just going to assume that nobody's heard. I apologize if I'm talking down to anybody as I share what I'm sharing now. That's not the desire or intent, but I want to just make sure we all have a shared understanding. The paper that I've handed out to you guys is called SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so what I'm asking of you as community members, if you're willing, is if you have any thoughts in your mind through your lens and your perspective of the community, what you would see as being the city's strengths, the community's strengths, the city's weaknesses, anything that you might be aware of that you see on the horizon that might be opportunities that if we took advantage of would give us the opportunity to do better in our service to you. And simultaneously, what are things that you might see on the horizon that you think are threats? Things that might prevent us from either keeping what we have or threats that might keep us from going where we decide we want to go as a community. If you're willing to take a couple of minutes and write those things down, whether it's tonight or on another day and then drop it off to us or email it back to us, take a picture, whatever you want. But one way or another, if you're willing to share that back with us, that's going to give us an opportunity to be able to have a more well-informed perspective of how we want to organize ourselves for the future. and how we want to talk about resourcing ourselves for the future, or how we get after resources for the future. But one way or another, your contributions to this, our team is doing this exercise right now from an internal to the city perspective, but they're also going out. I know that some of our directors have gone to their commissions and are working this particular question with the people that are sitting on their commissions. And we would ask the same thing of you guys. If you're willing to contribute into it, it helps us gain another perspective. In the not too distant future, we're planning on doing a work session with the council to go over the exact same opportunity for us to be able to share what we've gotten or what we've built as a team, as well as what if anything that we've received to that point from the community, and then of course the perspective of the council members to be able to contribute to it as well. Because our desire is to make sure we're meeting you and meeting them where they need us to meet them. But we can only do that when we understand the why, or what the perspectives are. So that being said, in the future you'll also have the opportunity to not just have to listen to me talk the whole time. My desire would be for us to be able to give each of the different leaders in our organization the opportunity to speak to you and provide you updates as well. They're also going to be present so that you have the opportunity to ask questions so that we can give you feedback in regards to whatever your particular questions are. Now I'll say, obviously we're coming up on close to an hour now. I know we scheduled for a 90-minute session, but we want to make sure that the quality of conversation is there. But at the same time, we want to be respectful of everybody else's time, and we don't want to necessarily bog down the entire evening with one or two topics, unless the collective group wants to just focus on those one or two topics. But for the most part, we want to make sure everybody has a chance to be heard. But when you guys hear a question that's asked and we're not able to give a quick answer on it today, when you're putting your name on this list over here, when we develop the answers to the questions and I'm able to give it to you in a more concise way, we're going to send those questions that were asked out to you, and we're going to send you the answers that were provided as well. So the idea here is to give you maximum opportunity to be informed, and then to poke holes in it if you want to as well. So with that being said, anybody from the staff that's here tonight, does anybody have anything that they want to make sure that they talk about tonight? All right, you guys got lucky. All right, that being said, one of the things that we're going to try and include into the future iterations is going to be community event awareness. Things that we're tracking or we're aware of that's going on. And the big one that's coming up in the near future, George, you want to talk about this for a second?
I sure do. You know, if you didn't know, it's really November 7th and 8th. November 6th, we will have an event if anyone wants to come to a welcoming ceremony where we're going to welcome 16 different teams to the Wildcat Center. We're going to have food and some kind of fun event that we would do with the volleyball teams. And if the city would like to come to that, about 6:30 in the evening, people to welcome, we'll see all the coaches and the OSAA officials and the officials that will be running the tournament. We're going to try to give some kind of gift bag or some kind of nice, I'll just say thank you for being here, the community welcomes you type of event. So that's what November 6th is about, and that's actually being donated. Again, we have a really wonderful community. Optimists are donating the food. EOU is working on cooking the food along with our CTE students, and they're going to make a pasta dinner with salad. But it would be nice if we have folks that want to welcome a whole bunch of people that are from a different part of the state into our community and just say, we're glad that you're here. I want it to be as welcoming as possible so that in the future we're going to get them to want to come regularly to our community. And obviously, really thankful for Eastern Oregon University. We couldn't do this without EOU. We have nice facilities. The high school has a renovated, beautiful gymnasium. EOU has a state-of-the-art college-level facility too. And so we're hosting the 1A, 2A championships. Grande High School has the 1A championship. Eastern Oregon University has a 2A championship. People are going to be basically at our schools or at our locations from 8 o'clock in the morning to about 9 o'clock at night, from November 7th to November 8th, competing for a state championship. So we're going to have, like I said, around 250 athletes and coaches, and then they'll bring 4 to 5 people to celebrate them or to cheer them on. So we should have about 1,200, 1,500 people come into our community to watch sports and to see who wins. And so whatever we can do to welcome folks to our restaurants or to our hotels or to our community, that's stuff that I'm looking for, hoping for. If you're interested in volunteering, you can contact the school district. Deb Comfort is our person for the 1A tournament. Eastern Oregon University has a nice machine with student athletes, so they don't necessarily need as much volunteers, but our school district does. And we'll take your support. We've made a few announcements now that we're canceling school on November 7th. That's a Friday. There's a need for at least 300 to 400 parking spaces. Our facility can host around 250 parking spaces. If we had our students there and we had our staff there, also we would be competing for parking, and so it's not going to work out for us. So we're canceling November 7th for school. We're moving it to June 5th. So we're still replacing that day with another day in our calendar. But if you want to volunteer and you want to help out, tickets, doors, hospitality rooms, concessions, a variety of things that people can help with if they're interested. Any questions? Really thankful for our community. Thanks for helping us out. Thanks for you too.
Oh, I can say something. Deborah is very easy to work with, and she'll do whatever fits your schedule. So volunteer.
Yes, we need that.
I appreciate that you brought up EOU too. I wanted to share, it's too early for me to be able to talk about it, but EOU and us have entered into some dialogue in regards to some potential efficiencies that we can gain while at the same time helping their partnership, if you would, to help us work on some things that we need to work on in the city, while at the same time giving us the ability to help students get grades. And so at the end of the day, I'm excited about the future and the eagerness and energy that they brought to the table when all I said was, can we talk? And it felt like they were in a hurry to see what they could do to try and help. So you guys are true partners in the community, so thank you for that. That being said, we're into the question and answer portion of the evening now. So I put up some business rules, if you would, in regards to how we're going to approach the Q&A for these opportunities to get here. I'm not expecting everybody to memorize this and know it perfectly. But what I can say is our desire is to make sure that whatever communication that we have, that the dialogue is fruitful and value added for both you and for everybody that is here to join us, and for, of course, those who are witnessing it online as well. If we do find ourselves at a place and time that tensions seem to rise, well then we may ask to take a pause, not because we're trying to be disrespectful, but because we want to make sure that we're not destroying this experience for everybody. Whatever might be causing the potential increase in less positive energy, well then we're not going to use that as a reason to not still talk about the topic that needs to be discussed. We're just going to wait until we can do it in a more productive way in a more productive location. But our commitment is to making sure that we're giving you answers. If they're not complete answers tonight, then we will make sure we follow up and get you, the one that's asking the answer, and share the answers with those that have provided us the information. And we might look towards posting something online that people would be able to see it as well. With that being said, we do have a few of our, the finance department is here, our law enforcement, fire department, Parks and Rec, and planning is here. So if anybody has any questions across all the, and our court recorder, I mean not court recorder, our council recorder. Oh yeah, and I'm sorry, economic development. Yep, I apologize. We're all, essentially, we're all here and able to answer questions if you have some. In our human resources and library, yeah, I'm sorry.
We're all spread out.
Why don't you just come up to the front so I don't keep messing up? And we have Main Street in the house as well, so maybe we can speak if you have any questions for Main Street as well. So anybody have any thoughts, questions, concerns, feedback? Go ahead.
Yeah, are you going to put the list of the street repair projects coming out on your website?
Yes,
So that can be accessed?
absolutely.
For communication, you mentioned the email opportunity, and then at one point you said something about texting. So does your number that ends 1309?
Did I say texting?
See texts?
Are you just sliding that in there?
Texting, pictures.
Maybe I'll type some text and send it to you in an email. So here's the concern, right? I have a personal life too. And so my concern is that if I'm giving out my number, once I start giving out my personal cell number, then I really am kind of obligated to give it to everybody. And so I'm a little concerned about the idea of giving out and I apologize if that's true, but the vast majority, 99% of the people will use it for the intent that it's designed. It's that 1%, maybe 0.5% that makes our life really, really difficult. And so I apologize if you heard that I was going to be texting. I would rather that we initiate conversations via email and/or you come to the office and speak with me. And then once we've had an opportunity to build a little bit of a relationship, then I'll probably be willing to share my cell number at that point. But until I feel like there's, this isn't, if I'm not sharing it, you could probably ask yourself, does this guy think I'm crazy? But I promise I'm not passing judgment though. So, hopefully I answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I'm curious about snow removal. It seems to, over the years that I've lived here, be a really big problem for the city. I don't know if they even have snow plows. And it's not only the streets that are a big problem, but it's the parks.
Yeah.
I walk every day, and I have called the city, actually in the past, where there's 7 inches of ice and snow. Easily break something, and they told me they didn't have the people to clear it. And if I wanted to clear it, I could do it myself. So I'm curious about that.
That is a really good question, and it makes sense that you'd ask me the guy that's been here the least amount of time, and the guy that has the most answers is not here with us. And so my directors that are here with us, is anybody able to speak to that? It's okay if you don't. So if it's okay with you, it's an answer that I owe you. What I can say is in conversations that we have had recently, it's not for lack of effort as far as whether or not they are out there or trying to get it done. Whether or not we're meeting the community's needs or expectations, that's probably a whole other conversation in and of itself. But what I can do is probably share with you more granular detail in regards to that, and then make sure that you have an understanding of the why behind what is or isn't happening. All right? Okay. If you make sure we get your information, I'll make sure you get it. Any other questions? Oh, you guys are making this too easy. But thank you for that. All right, well then I'm going to hang out here for a little while, and you're welcome to come up and bend my ear if you'd like. I think some of my staff was probably eager to get home, and so I would encourage them to slowly start working their ways to the door if they can. So pay attention at the door if you want to ask them something that, before they get out. Other than that, I really thank everybody for coming. We're currently planning, I think EOU has given us a go to be able to utilize one of their spaces. I believe the date is going to be the 14th of January, but one way or another we'll share it out. But that's the next date of this event, with more details than the wave tops than what you saw here tonight. Unless you have anything more for me, I'll send you guys out with It's Happening in the Grande. Assuming the